Hello, hello. So, as I mentioned in my last video, I was going to go up to the local gaming store and do a draft, and had a really good time. And actually, it really made up for the uh, Eldritch Moon box that I opened earlier. So, just want to kind of go through it. Unfortunately, the store was completely out of Eldritch Moon packs, so we drafted Shadows over Innistrad instead. That did make a pretty significant impact on how many people showed up. Usually there's about 16 to 20 people there. Tonight there was only 8, so just enough for us to actually run the draft. So, but just kind of want to show you what I got, what kind of deck I put together. Like I said, had a couple of awesome pulls. Ended up playing a red-white deck that just sort of splashed black, and came in third place. So that was pretty exciting. I think it's third place. The final, we left early. The finals weren't completely done yet, so I'm pretty sure it was third place. But let me show you what I got. The Eerie Interlude. I actually drafted that, so that came straight out of the pack. Since I was going red-white, this was the third pack. I was pretty happy to get it. Ended up not even using it. And these were passed to me. The store that I play at, the price support is pretty limited when it comes to draft. That allows them to keep the prices down. But that also means that when we're drafting for value, not necessarily for the power of our deck. So some people, on the other hand, were drafting obviously to get better cards for their deck. But these were passed to me, and I snatched them up right away. But they obviously didn't make the deck either. Mana base, I was lucky enough to get a couple of stone quarries, so that was really nice to get past my way. I went with 6 plains, 6 mountains, and then 3 swamps. Like I said, I did splash black a little bit, so I wanted to make sure that just in case the card that I drafted came up, I wanted to make sure I had the mana to do it. So was really happy with that, and the dual lands really helped out as well, even though they're not great being so slow, but at least they came out and they helped a little bit. Creatures in the one slot I had the Thraben, was it Thraben? Thraben Inspector and a couple of Insolent Neonates. I was trying to engage Madness a little bit, and unfortunately it just never. It went off a couple of times, but it just wasn't really ever worth it. So that was in my one slot. In the 2 slot, I had 3 Moorland Drifters. I'm pretty sure no one else was drafting white in the pool, so pretty much anything got passed to me, and white really was not very strong. If I hadn't pulled the very first card that I pulled, I would not have been going into white. In the 3 slot, all I had was the Spectral Shepherd. Just flying, hoping to get stuff through that way. In the 4 slot, the Apothecary Geist had enough spirits that every time I played it, I was gaining the 3 life, which was nice. 1 Inquisitor's Ox. I actually pulled 2 of these in the draft, but just Delirium never was triggering, so I ended up swapping it out for something else. Can't remember what, and I just kind of left it out. So I only had the 1 in the deck. 3 Hulking Devils. The 2 toughness is always rough, but having such a strong critter on the board is just a real serious threat that has to be dealt with. These guys, I only got to play them once, and they did flip, and they were awesome, but the game was already in hand, so they really didn't do anything besides just be another big body. Incorrigible use, it's always nice to have haste. So now the explosive apparatus, this was my attempt to get Delirium going, just one more card type to get out. Dual shot, hoping to ping some little 1/1 spirits or 2/1 spirits. Didn't get to use it, never came up, unfortunately. The Griff's Boon only came up in the last round, and by the time it came out, it just wasn't that big a deal. I never used its return ability, just trying to, again, make 1 creature flying and get it through. The Survive the Night was nice, mostly for investigating, which is always good. Bound by Moonsilver, just trying to take care of the creatures. I got a lot of use out of this. I never used its second ability, but being able to lock down a creature was always useful. The The last thing that I got were the Fiery Tempers. Again, I was hoping to use them for Madness, but I always had plenty of mana, so I was able to use those to a lot of effect. But so the first card that I drafted in the very first pack was Archangel Avacyn, and as soon as I drafted, I'm like, all right, obviously I'm playing white. I'm meant to play white, and it was, I mean, that was awesome. This is the first time I've had an Archangel Avacyn, first time I've ever played one. I did make a misplay, which I think cost me one of my games, one of my series actually. It really turned the momentum. I thought that when it flips, it did 3 damage to me, to all players, and it's actually just to opponents. And you know, these are my sleeves, and unfortunately, I did not read this card properly, but had a lot of fun with it. It was awesome to be able to flash it in. Very, very useful, and only costing 5 was awesome. So the second pack that I opened, this is what I got. And I knew I just had to splash black for it. If it had been like a green, if it had been like Nahiri, probably wouldn't have splashed green for it. But Soren was just, he was definitely an all-star. Every time he hit the table, he was doing a consistent amount of damage every time I would do the +1. Again, the -X I tried once, but that game was already out of hand. So in the end, I won the first game, or the first series 2-0. The second series I lost 0-2, and then the final series I went 2-0 as well, and that's how I ended up sneaking into third place. But these 2 cards were just all-stars. I mean, this is definitely very, very lucky when it comes to this draft. So, but had a lot of fun. I'm finding that I'm enjoying drafting a lot. Kind of gets my mind going, gets me thinking. You know, kind of on the fly, since you got such a short amount of time to make your decisions, to pick your cards, and then to actually put the deck together. So, but yeah, great pulls. Really happy with what I got here, and again, had a really good time. So hopefully I'll be able to go draft again soon. And if you like this type of a video, or if you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to give me a thumbs up if you liked it. If you have any comments as well, please leave them below. It really kind of helps to see what other people, what everyone else wants to see. So again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.